What happens to those destinations from your perspective when they try to grow without an ecosystem alignment?
When you talk about ecosystem, and if you refer on to the science, ecosystem is known as a bubble life, which means that everybody cooperates and everybody works together in order to achieve a purpose. When we have our mindset based on a purpose, based on a collaboration, based on an ecosystem, you know that there are a few industries that can work together. I had this fantastic lady back in the theater saying, like, agreeing with me with her head every time that I was talking about the new ideas. Approached to me and said, "Hi, Francisco," and she just touched me like 3 times in my back and said, "Good job, Francisco. This is what Florida has been doing the last 145 years."
Make a prediction for the next 2 years in your region.
I would say that vacation ownership will become
This episode is brought to you by Hamacampai, the first vacation ownership project on the northern coast of Ecuador. Hi everyone, I'm Gaetan Babin, and welcome to the Voices of Vacation Ownership. It's where we speak with leaders shaping the future of our industry. Now, each episode focuses on ideas that strengthen performance, elevate destinations, and enhance the owner experience. Today, I'm joined by Francisco Del Castillo. He's the president of Campai Group and Endemico Ecuador organizations, operating in the intersection of hospitality, real estate, and tourism development in beautiful Ecuador. As vacation ownership continues to evolve globally, emerging markets and integrated destination ecosystems are becoming increasingly important. Today, we're exploring what it takes to build sustainable tourism growth and how leadership philosophy plays a role in long-term success. Francisco, thank you for your time today and welcome to the podcast.
Hello, Gaetan, and hello, everybody that is looking this important podcast. Thank you for the invitation. It's been so nice since I've met you, and right now it's a reality that we're working together on this.
Well, I certainly remember seeing you in person in Cancun recently, and it was great to meet face to face. But let's get right into this. When you talk about hospitality and tourist development, you often speak it as in terms of ecosystems. So what does that mean in practical term?
Thank you for the question, and it's very important because sometimes we humans forget what is the importance of being here actually in everything in our role with the community. And when you talk about ecosystem, and if you refer on to the science, ecosystem is known as a bubble life, which means that everybody cooperates and everybody works together in order to achieve a purpose. And that's exactly what we are convinced on when we decided to start a project or when we start a new project here in Ecuador. That's pretty much kind of our set of mind or mindset when we do businesses in Ecuador.
So how important, though, is the coordination between the private hospitality sector and national and regional tourism when it comes to strategy to build a sustainable destination?
I would like to answer that part of the question by telling you an experience that I had when I was a speaker in Dubai about why to invest in Ecuador versus why to invest in Florida or why to invest in Dubai. And it was quite a challenge to go to Dubai and present all of this information in front of mainly all the NAR members, the National Association of Realtors in the United States that were attending this conference, trying to look for new opportunities where they can expand their portfolio. And pretty much what we mentioned is that the real estate and sustainable tourism, it's a cluster itself. And when you see it as a cluster itself, you know the amount of collaboration that each one of the industries can have in order to create development for a location or for a destination. In this case, this is something that has happened in Ecuador, not just through our company and through our projects. But in general, as I mentioned before, when we have our mindset based on a purpose, when we have our mindset based on a collaboration, based on an ecosystem, you know that there are a few industries that can work together. And definitely two of them, probably the biggest ones, because those are the ones that generate most jobs in versus the rest of the industries, is real estate and tourism. We tend to believe that both of those industries are very are part of this ecosystem. They are like family. They are brother and sister working together in order to achieve this purpose of vacation ownership when you offer this to your portfolio of clients.
Obviously, the world has shrunk a lot, and to travel worldwide, South America, across the Atlantic, across the Pacific, is something that most destinations are attainable now. But what happens to those destinations from your perspective when they try to grow without an ecosystem alignment?
It's very important because all these emerging markets, as Ecuador, which is definitely probably one of the best opportunities that any people related with the industry will be attracted to, um, has this chance to work together with the community as an ecosystem, as a project with purpose. So the local market, is the other important part, because when these emerging markets are starting, you cannot just say, I'm going to just focus all my marketing strategy to the international market. We have to create a community, and that community has to be created through our people, with our people. And that's the way that we have done it all these years. We create this ecosystem, which is something that we have, these different actors, these different collaborators that are part of the project, that are part of the purpose. And when that has happened at this point, now we are ready actually to move on to a different markets like United States, Canada, Europe, or a different ones, but mainly the first two, which are our main partners in businesses, right? Because of the distance between each other. So I would say that having the concept of an ecosystem is interesting. And I agree with you, Gaten, in something. It's also new for me. I mean, they are words that they are using right now. The new generations are using these new words, but I like it because it's a way to explain what is the real role that we humans and professionals and business people are having in order to achieve these purposes. Otherwise, it's just another project, right?
Well, you're talking about the more mature markets. Obviously, you're talking about Mexico, United States, where and Caribbean, where vacation ownership has been predominant. But Latin America, Ecuador, obviously, in your situation, and more even specifically, I would say the Pacific coast of Ecuador, it represents new opportunities in hospitality and ownership. And do you see, or what are the advantages of these destinations versus the more mature markets, which is where most of the vacation ownership projects are actually active? What would be an advantage of these destinations, such as, let's say, the Pacific coast of Ecuador?
There are several advantages, and I will start with what you had mentioned before. These mature markets, as all the ones that we know, most of they've lived the whole process on the learning curve of what has happened and what is coming to happen, regards all the services, all the infrastructure, and all the purpose that sometimes at the beginning probably wasn't part of the whole thing. Right now, in our case, I would say that one of the most strong opportunity, but at the same time, one of the most strong advantage that we have is just the luxury of being here. So when you talk about the coast of Ecuador, and I'm just going to talk about the province or the state where we are located mainly, and right now is pretty much one of the most important emerging market in Ecuador itself is Manabí State. Manabí State has more than 200 kilometers of beach. The beach is not private, as mainly happens all around the world, but there are projects like ours, for example, that has 1.2 kilometers of what you can tell is a private beach. 1.2 kilometers. So when you talk about luxury, when you talk about being here, when you talk about this now and here, this carpe diem concept of living the moment is exactly what you can do, because we say that you can disconnect and at the same time reconnect. You can disconnect of the noise of the city, of everything that is happening worldwide, and suddenly you are just here alone with all the nature in front of you, with this beautiful Pacific Ocean, with these dry forests and humid forests behind, with all these ecosystems itself, the nature ecosystems itself, that will give you that not just a sense of exclusivity, will give you the exclusivity itself, because the less density that we have and the chance that we have to create everything from scratch, to create this ecosystem, to create this collaboration, to have this collaboration with the people, with the local people, not just the business local people, but the actual local people that live in these towns, allow you to be connected with their purpose, with the place purpose, and with the country purpose itself. So it's a matter of trying to find the best way to offer a service, a unique service, because we consider that Ecuador is unique. I mean, we are in the center of the world, right? Not because we believe we're a center, but it is what it is. I mean, the equatorial line is right there, and everything that you'll find here is unique. So this possibility of create unique experiences is what makes us different from anything around the world. And it's because of the less density that we have.
On the stunning coast of Ecuador, something extraordinary awaits. The first registry collection project in South America. A destination where luxury meets nature, where every sunset feels exclusive, and every moment is designed to inspire. Welcome to Jama Kempe, where you always want to come back.
Well, we discussed when we were in Cancun, you and I, about investors and international developers, hospitality leaders, that they're looking at those emerging markets, but what should they really truly understand before they go that market? Like, you bring somebody from the exterior that want to look at a place like Ecuador, for instance. What do they need to know before they enter into that market?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, one thing that is very very important is the currency. We are a dollarized country, so that helps a lot in terms of how the economy or the financials of a project will be taken care of. Then, of course, the potential that we have. Nowadays, Ecuador has become a strategic ally for many countries in the world, especially for North America. We've been in the past 10 years one of the 10 places named by World Economic Forum, a place where to live or where to invest or where to retire. So when you say potential, it's not because Francisco is saying it's a potential place. It's because the world is saying it, and he's saying it because of the currency. He's saying it because the rules, the policies, the incentives, the legal freedom that we have, the alliance that you can get in local market, the accessibility is very important. Sometimes you think that Ecuador, I mean, sometimes you don't even know where Ecuador is located, and you said, I don't know how long it's going to take me to get to Ecuador, but it's a 3 hours and 50 minutes flight from Miami. It's a 4 hours and 15 minutes from New York. It's a 5 hours from LA. It's a 5 hours from Atlanta. Then of course you have the different connections that you can have or you can use, but the accessibility is right there. Most of the airlines are flying to Ecuador, and it's not a hassle just to decide to go to Ecuador. The political situation is another important part. Ecuador has been able to stabilize itself as a country, and we are moving forward with a clear vision of what is needed to be done. And that's what I was telling you at the beginning. The concept of ecosystem, the concept of having a purpose, the concept of working together towards the benefit of the whole, not just of the ones that are doing the businesses, is important because that brings you security. If you develop or you create, if you develop a project by creating jobs, and those jobs are mainly from an area where you are, then the people are the ones that are really part of the whole, so they will be protecting their what they feel is theirs. And that's exactly what has happened to us. We've been here for years, and we've been able to have people, three generations of people. So we have a grandfather, we have a daughter, and we have his grandchildren right now working for us. Not just one case, several cases, and not just us as a business people, but most of the people right now in the northern coast of Ecuador is experiences those things. So this ecosystem structure that we can offer is important once again because you are starting from the scratch. You are giving the chance to any investor to be part of this creation of something that will last long and that definitely will be a good investment in terms of return over investments.
Well, on an investor side and new developers, it brings me back a little bit to the industry, our industry, vacation ownership, which has been in place for well over 50 years. It's got a lot of resources. And when you're looking at bringing in vacation ownership to areas that it hasn't been present in the past, there's obviously some challenge that goes along the way to try to establish the credibility, the need for the region. What kind of support are you getting from the industry, from attending probably events and whatnot, and talking to the industry in general to say that we really want to bring this platform to our country and to showcase the beautiful country that you describe all the time? Are you getting good support from the industry as a general?
I would say yes and no, but that no means a big opportunity. And I was telling you before about this real estate and sustainable tourism cluster, and this is a movement that a group of people from Ecuador were leading in order for more investors, local investors or international investors, to be attracted to, so we can keep promoting the place as a destination to invest in real estate and sustainable tourism as a cluster. Yeah, I want to tell you very quickly about my experience when I was invited as a speaker to Dubai. And I remember that when I was standing up there in front of all the NAR, not all the NAR, but some of the National Association of Realtors, mainly was Miami, Orlando, Chicago. There was also somewhere from New York. Most of these people were looking for new places that they can offer in, or they can put it in their portfolio. And I remember that when I was talking about this, I had this fantastic lady back in the theater, saying, like, agreeing with me with her head every time that I was talking about the new ideas and what can it be done and why Ecuador and not Florida, or why Ecuador and not Dubai, or why the three of them. I mean, just like making this comparison. And it was so interesting because at the time that I finished the conference, Therese, she's the president of Miami Realtors. Therese just uh, approached to me and said, "Hi, Francisco," and she just touched me like three times in my back and said, "Good job, Francisco. This is what Florida has been doing the last 145 years. So I thought that my conference was pretty much an innovation of what we're doing and everything. And no, we're not creating anything new. The newest thing that probably we're doing is having other actors from the area, meaning local people from the area that will bring the experience, will bring their wisdom, will bring their food, the way that they eat, the way that they treat, the way that they fish, the way that they explore different areas, and they become part of a whole of this ecosystem structure. But mainly is the chance when I said no, the industry is not really too much into the vacation ownership in Ecuador, is an opportunity because there are so many things that can be done. And that is why I've been involved so far, these past 4 years, mainly with international organizations that has specialized themselves in vacation ownership. I started with Lazos, Latin American Shared Ownership, because registry collection it's a brand that we're working with. Then I just got related with you, Canadian Resort and Travel Associations. I don't know if you are still working just with us in Ecuador, or you're still working with somebody else. But those are the kind of opportunities that you have and that we have, and those are the challenges that we also as an industry have to face, because it's not easy. It's not easy as a completely different product than just hospitality or just tourism. And we have already started, and we are working towards with good results. We are having the people happy of having a place where to come, and we are also other organizations, not just in the coast, but also in Ecuador territory. I don't know if you heard this, Gaetan, before, but Ecuador is known as the country of the four worlds, because we have Galapagos Islands, we have Amazon, we have the highlands, and we have the coast. So right now the industry is working together in order to establish what it could be a vacation ownership program from the scratch as an ecosystem, but also multi-destination and multi-properties. And that's something that you'll be able to find soon in Ecuador.
Well, if you ask the industry as a whole, and I think it's fair to say that based on your philosophy and your vision and your mission, being a very proud resident and citizen of Ecuador, that you're going to get a lot of support from the industry. The industry is focused on giving unquestionable value to our members. That's the main thing. And transparency, professionalism, a good value product is, people are looking at emerging markets. And I think Ecuador we're going to see more and more interest into your country, because it's like you say, for all the reasons that you mentioned, it's a new destination that is starting to be more attractive to a lot of people. And the industry as a whole wants to look at those emerging markets. So if you were going to make a prediction, just to finish this off, in the next 2-3 years, what's going to be the biggest change that you're going to see in Ecuador as a whole? And I know Campai is your group, but all the companies or people that have an interest on those and that market to come in, make a prediction for the next 2 years in your region.
I will say that vacation ownership will become the most important tourism product in the northern coast of Ecuador. That will be a fact. That will be a fact. I'm telling you, it's pretty much not just a projection or a prediction. It's what is happening already, and it has to become that way, because there is the market, local market, and we are sure that international market will start to come and work together with us in order to have this place as a good spot for vacation ownership.
Well, I thank you, Francisco. I'm looking forward to go visit you in Ecuador. I know the invitation's been sent. It's just a question of timing. I'm looking forward to see all the beauty your country has to offer. Thank you for your time today. On behalf of the staff and our group, we'd like to thank you for viewing Voices of Vacation Ownership. And until next episode, safe travels, everyone. This episode is brought to you by Hamakampai, the first vacation ownership project on the northern coast of Ecuador.